Timefall is a collection of music inspired by the game itself. We have the game scores. We've had the other soundtracks that have been used, but we've never had a soundtrack like this.
We were born in a slumber. No one really
This is our first project with Kojima Productions, and Mr. Kojima has very strong and creative ideas about music and the way that music is used in his games. He always has. So to have the opportunity to create music specifically for and around this game by huge artists who are fans of his was something we had to sort of avail ourselves of the opportunity to do.
We were looking at some of the initial press footage and the press campaigns of like these little leaks that were going out about Death Stranding. And his use of music in those little leaks was so spectacular and so spot on that you could kind of tell that like, okay, this is going to be a fun experience because he gets music. And as long as someone is a true fan of music, we'll always be fine.
We were born in a slumber. Nobody cared about us except for our parents.
With Timefall, you have this idea of something that's been reclaimed from the world of Death Stranding, and the ability to have songs that support Sam Bridges' narrative, that support what Mr. Kojima has been trying to make, and that help bring the new world of Death Stranding to a wider audience of people is what our goal was and what we're trying to achieve here. We start every project with sort of a mood board. What should these songs mean to Sam, the protagonist of the game, and what should these songs mean to the player who's listening to these songs as they're going through the experience, and then taking these songs with them when they're not in the experience. So that was immediately what came to mind for me, and I was excited.
We wanted artists that had an affinity for Mr. Kojima himself. So in conjunction with Sony Music, we put together almost a pitch deck with some of the early videos and stuff and sent it out to certain labels.
Hello everyone, I'm back.
The reaction in the artist community from artists within Sony was immediate.
Today I bring something new.
Everybody knew who Hideo Kojima was immediately, and it was literally the moment that we started talking to artists, the feedback that we got was a lot of excitement and a lot of passion, and I think it comes out, A, in the fact that it's a very, very diverse roster of artists, and B, I think the music is just really, really great, and I think it really fits the game perfectly.
The aspects of Death Stranding that influenced Ghost were those feelings of isolation, and it really concentrates on that feeling of just loneliness and feeling like you're disconnected from everything that you know. Writing a song for a video game is basically a dream come true for me. I absolutely love playing video games. So when this opportunity came up and the fact that I also got to do it with Alan, it's, yeah, absolutely amazing.
We tried to find artists that obviously live and breathe music, but if they're not playing their instrument, they're on a PS4, right? And they're playing their games. And Alan's a perfect example of that, right? I mean, when we started talking to him, like, we couldn't even finish our sentence and he was just kind of jumping in, and he was sending so many songs and we were working on so many different things. It was just a real pleasure.
I am a gamer myself. I've been gaming every now and then. I'm still gaming as much as I can. PlayStation is something that I've grown up with since I was a young kid. And yeah, it was pretty much the greatest addition to my life, and I've been playing non-stop. I would say Death Stranding influenced my track in a way that I got inspired to create something that was maybe more or less mystical, and I felt like I managed to flip the Alan Walker sound into something more mysterious and interesting.
Part of the way that we structured this album was to find sort of flag holders in each genre. the tie that binds all of whom is their love for and excitement about and anticipation for Death Stranding. So to have Bring Me the Horizon next to Alan Walker, next to Khalid and Major Lazer, if you look at that on paper, you think, what do these guys have in common? And the answer is Death Stranding.
Gamers are very smart people. They understand when they're being sold something versus when something is engaged with what they care about. So we felt it was really important that these artists were gamers and had an affinity for either Death Stranding or Mr. Kojima himself.
I guess I fanboyed out of it being a Hideo game and sort of like a cool way to like insert some actual stuff from the game and make it relevant to like a bigger message, I guess.
The difficulty of the whole thing was trying to put together a song, record the vocals, the drums and all the guitars and bass, and write and mix it whilst on tour, playing shows and travelling.
Trying to write something in our hotel, so we made this lovely hotel studio. It's a Jordanfish design. Thank you. I don't know why, but for some reason it felt like we could like do stuff that maybe we wouldn't have done before. It made us feel like we could go a little harder in the world and make the music a little more cinematic in places in the world. And
all of these songs are written for the game. They are all written for the express purpose of being synced into this world.
We have band members of respective bands that have written songs for Timefall who've been able to be informed by what his vision is and have written songs to support them.
With both Major Lazer and Khalid, which is our big event record, which is a song called Trigger, to be able to sit down with Khalid and he's basically like, we were sitting there talking to him and he's like, look at the calluses on my fingers. He goes, that's from gaming.
We want them to just, first of all, know Major Lazer has been down since day one with the illest video games.
It is dope though when you play the game and you hear your song in it.
And we're down from day one. We love Death Stranding, so I hope that he calls us back again soon.
People don't just live in the moment of playing the game. The game stays with them. And this is an opportunity, this record, Timefall, is an opportunity for them to take a piece of that game experience with them when they're not engaged in Sam's adventure.
You hope that the listening of the album reminds them about how great the game is, and they go back and they enjoy that game again and again and again, and that you also hope in reverse that as they enjoy that game again and again and again, they want to hear those songs. So I think that in a perfect world, the perfect ending for me would be a wonderful symbiotic relationship between the game and the music, and how the interest is being driven in both directions for the gamer.
Boom 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 boom.
Did you record that?
Yes.
Okay, we need to make a rhythm of that. Give the ape drums, call it a day.